Today we begin and end the 30th letter. This letter is, like many of the letters of the Alter Rebbe, the last several have not been of this nature, but this is about tzedakah, about charity. And the uniqueness, another angle about the importance of charity. So the Alter Rebbe quotes the Talmud, and our sages say that someone who is accustomed to come to synagogue, that's their regular routine. They come to synagogue, and one day they don't come. So the Talmud, our sages teach us that the Holy One, blessed be He, inquires after that individual. You're not there. You're missing. Which is a very heartfelt, nice sense that, when we do something and we do it consistently, and then one day we're not there, God asks, hey, what happened to you today? Everything okay? I added that. But he asks. So that is what the sages say. The Alter Rebbe takes this further, and he says the same applies to all of the commandments, right? That if you do something in a consistent manner, and all of a sudden you don't show up one day to do the mitzvah. So, so to speak, God inquires. Not in a punishing way, in a loving way. The Alter Rebbe says, all the more so when it comes to the mitzvah of tzedakah, of charity, because it is balanced against all of the commandments. What does that mean? In other words, if you give regularly, and then even though you're not bound by a vow, right? For example, I give tzedakah, a few coins into the pushka, into the charity box before prayers. I do that on a regular basis. Sometimes I must say I forget, and sometimes in the middle of prayer I remember. Sometimes I don't have change. I ran out of change. I have a little purse of change. So, that I should always have and be able to give before. But sometimes I run out. As a matter of fact, yesterday I had to fill it up again in order to be able to have it there and to constantly, consistently, on a daily basis to give. You don't give one day, God is inquiring. That's what the Alter Rebbe is saying. That definitely gives me just on a personal level again, a reminder, sort of a impetus or a little nudge, shall we say, to not forget. But I do sometimes. So the Alter Rebbe is saying here about your giving, that a person is accustomed to give, even though there is no legal vow for them to give. Nevertheless, it's not becoming, the Alter Rebbe says, of a divine soul, of a person who has the true sense of presence of God, which is the concept of fear of God, that you should reduce in your giving. You're accustomed to give. So just to personalize this, in other words, let's say you have been giving for years to this cause, and now not to give. So, got to give. You got to give. Period. And especially, as the Alter Rebbe explains, because what does giving do is to those who don't have, whether it's an individual doesn't have, whether it's an institution that doesn't have and needs and is out, doing there for the community and needs the support. So you're helping those that are humble of spirit, downcast, impoverished. And especially the Alter Rebbe is making reference to those who give annual basis to those in the Holy Land of Israel who he collected for. It says, especially in a time of exile, where not only is there's the impoverishment of people, but there's the impoverishment of the presence of God. As Sukkah David Nefelis, as the Sukkah of David has fallen, which is in reference to King David's holy temple. And what do we need to do? We need to raise and exalt. Who do we need to raise and exalt? Well, of course, those who need, those in need. And through that, you're also raising and exalting the divine presence of God. And to what are you raising to? To be one, united, oneness, united with oneness. In other words, that we should be united with others that we're giving, in particular the Jewish souls. That there's a unity that's created through this giving. And we shouldn't diminish that. We shouldn't lessen that. And in that unity, there's two levels. A lower level of unity, which is tzedakah unites one Jew with another, which means to the divine attributes above, to the holiness above. And then there's the Yichudi law, the higher level of unity, that also transcends the divine attributes as they are found within the Jewish souls, and transcendent of that, the Holy One, blessed be He, and His divine presence, that we create a unity on that level too, a oneness. So we shouldn't diminish in that manner. Furthermore, the Alter Rebbe says that everything is judged according to the multiplicity of action. It's something that we've learned previously, as when you give charity only one time, that's great. But when you give it the same total amount, but you give it many times, that's even greater, because you are refining yourself by each time you're giving tzedakah. You're creating this unity every time you give the tzedakah. So therefore, important to give it in, just not in one batch, but constantly be giving. And as we learned also previously, it adds up to cheshbon gadol, to a great account. Cheshbon is an account, and it's a great account. The word gadol, cheshbon gadol, so the Alter Rebbe explains these words mystically. Cheshbon is an account, which cheshbon also refers to the divine attribute of malchus, just as an account has many different details to it. So malchus is the speech, that is the creative power, that that speech has many different words that create many different things. And then that's cheshbon gadol, great, which refers to the name of God, the divine kindness. So you're creating a union between God's greatness, His divine name, Havaya, right? Yud and a Hey, and a Vav and a Hey, that's vested in the sphere of Malchus, which is the cheshbon, and it illuminates. So, in other words, every time we do the mitzvah of giving tzedakah, we're creating that union of the name Havaya, the tetragrammaton, which is beyond any is the infinite quality that's bound up with Malchus, and that creates that the greatness of God, which is when He's in Ir Elokeinu, and God is in Malchus, and therefore we should be constantly giving. And when we do that, of course, what we are creating is an arousal from within us, from our actions of giving, that is now bringing grace and kindness by that act of charity and goodwill that we have expressed to another, with doing it not just being charitable, but with a desirable countenance. So we elicit an arousal from above, that the supreme favor of God, that God will show to us, the supreme will that is the fountainhead of life, He will bring to us additional life as a result of our giving again in a pleasant manner. And this is what it means, a great amount, that the great amount of acts of charity will bring this divine level that is of Havaya with Malchus, which creates peace because it brings this new light that God shines upon us in this world, bringing together that union and bringing this new divine light into the world that will illuminate us and, of course, our surroundings. And that is the 30th letter of being charitable. Reminder for those who signed up, tonight's JLI class, those who are still interested, let me know, private message me. Okay, Shirley, welcome. Sharon from Connecticut, Chris from Mexico, Cindy from Fort Worth, Texas, Elaine from Georgia. Yes, so when we give, Rick, we magnify God. We bring the light of God into this world, as we just explained, yes. Cindy from Florida, in the path of Hurricane Eta. Ooh, and tornadoes, okay. Our prayers, we need to think of those in Florida. Denise, very good statement. No one will become poor from giving to the poor and needy. Yeah. Darren, great to be here back in Saskatchewan. There's a difference between a gift of labor and a gift of currency. We need to do both, but here we're talking about money. Mindy, okay. Yes, for Hanukkah. Yes, we will do something. Thank you. All right. Yeah. Okay. All right, we'll do. Denise has a very good question. Is there priorities in charity? What do we give first? So there is your family first, extended family, your community that you are part of, and there is the institutions that you are a part of, or that you, that is part of your local community, extended community. There is that which you get benefit from, like Chabad.org, right? And that's some basic ideas there. Yeah, giving prevents from making money into an idol. Yeah, absolutely. All right. I'm Rabbi Ronnie Pine, coming to you from Chabad Zich and Kadeshim in Montreal, Canada. It's a privilege and a pleasure to share with you the Tanya. Have a wonderful day.